Hello everyone, I am Faiz Khan Sahil and I'm a microbiologist, and today we're gonna learn about this beautiful structure known as cell. So the first question should be, right, what is cell? Cell is basically the fundamental functional unit of living organisms. This sounds a bit complicated, right? But cell isn't complicated. This is a smallest structural unit. So basically, a building, for example, this is a building and it is made up of hundreds of these small bricks. Okay? So each of these small bricks is known as cell. It is as simple as it. So it is the smallest structural and functional unit of all living organisms. Some cells are multicellular, means they are made up of 1, 2, 3, 4, more than 2 cells. Example could be humans. We are multicellular, right? There are also unicellular cells, right? Which are known as bacterial cell. In this video, we're gonna learn about two of the cell structure, plant cell and animal cell. We'll learn about the bacterial cells as well as virus cells in the next video, not in this video. This is not the agenda. Before starting, let's look at the beautiful structure of these cells. We have over here plant cells, we have over here animal cells. Okay, now you can see an interesting thing, right? Two cells look different as well as they are similar. There is some common structure found in both of them. For example, nucleus, cytoplasm, mitochondria, and cell membrane. We'll learn about this structure like within the next slide. We'll start learning. So these are the structure that are same in both type of cell. For example, nucleus. Nucleus is where genetic materials are actually stored. Cytoplasm, where all the cell chemical reaction take place. Mitochondria is the powerhouse of cell. Think it like a generator, like a nuclear power plant, where it produces energy. We produce energy, then we store in battery. Cell have these small batteries known as ATP. We'll learn more about this. Then we have cell membrane. So for bacteria, this structure should be over here. This is actually the cell membrane, and this is the cell membrane. However, there are sharp contrasts between the two cells too. For example, chloroplast isn't found in animal cell, but it is found in actually plant cell. This is where the photosynthesis take place. What is photosynthesis, by the way? Photosynthesis is nothing but the process by which plants make their own food from using sunlight. Now we can see one another key differences, which is cell wall. So cell wall isn't available in animal cell. As you can see, no cell wall, but it is available in plant cell. This for plant cells, the cell wall is actually made up of cellulose. You don't need to worry about this thing. We'll learn one by one every structure of it. There is one another differences, which is vacuoles. We have a large center vacuoles in plant cells, but which is drastically absent in animal cell. Even if it's present, it is in small shape and it is temporary. It is not a permanent structure of animal cell. Now, what structure you can see that is not found in both of the cell? I give you 2 seconds. 1, 2. Let me give you one more second. 3. It's centrioles. It participated in cell divisions. Now let's move on to our first structure, which is cell membrane. Let's look at this thing. By the way, I know it's not part of the video, but I wanted to share it something. It is actually my first video, so the thing's gonna improve a lot. I'm a bit nervous recording these things, and today my day was really good. My experiment was really successful. I know it's not part of the studies, but just for that you guys know me a little bit more. So let's look at our first structure, which is cell membrane. So what is cell membrane? Your first question should be, what is this weird structures, right? They look very weird. Like, now you will see one important thing. It is made up of these molecules known as phospholipid. Look at this structure, phospholipid, right? This portion is water loving. They love the water, so they face the water. But this portion, these fatty acid tails, are water repellent. They doesn't like water, so they fold it in that pattern. One interesting thing you will get to know is that, for example, in a bucket, it was an experiment. In a bucket, you put a lot of phospholipid. Okay, you put a lot of phospholipid to this tail structure. They form a circular structure like the cell itself. I found that very interesting, honestly speaking. Now let's not move from our agenda, which is to learn cell membrane. Cell membrane actually act as a barrier. Your house has walls, right, that guarded your house. So cell membrane is that particular barrier. It is partially permeable. So means your family member can go in and out of the house, but not other people, right? So cell membrane is like that. So cell membrane is partially permeable, so it doesn't allow all the substances to pass through it. It actually surrounds the cytoplasm to create a environment, a control environment for the cell. Okay, they have functions. It prevents cell content from escaping. Of course, cell has a lot of content. Cell have mitochondria, nucleus, Golgi body, rough endoplasmic reticulum. There is a lot of other organelles. If it doesn't surrounded by a cell membrane, it will eventually be so it prevents the cell content from escaping. Then other function is that it controls the movement of substance in and out of the cells. So your question should be, how does this substances go in and out of the cells, right? Through this structure, those as channel. So these channels actually control the movement of different substances. For examples, when it opens like it is in spear shapes, right? It actually opens like this way. So these actually opens and the selected substance can pass through it. Now we'll look at another function, which is control the movement of substances in and out of the cells. I have explained. I didn't explain what substance can move freely. So from these, oxygen, CO2 and H2O, uncharged molecule, can move through it very freely, but not H2O, because this environment is not water loving. I wanted to trick you guys a bit. I hope you catch it. And let's move on to the next slide. We have cytoplasm. So cytoplasm is basically a jelly. This portion is known as the cytoplasm. Okay, cytoplasm is a jelly-like substance. It is a substance where all the chemical reactions of the body take place. It contains organelles. So what are organelles? Organelles such as mitochondria, organelles such as Golgi body, ribosomes, these are all organelles that are present in the cytoplasm. It also contains enzymes, salt, and food reserves such as lipid. Let's move on to the next slide. We have nucleus. So nucleus, where the genetic materials are usually stored. Not usually, it is where they're stored. It is present in both animal cell and also plant cells, and it is surrounded by also a membrane bound structure, right? So what is the function of nucleus? It contains genetic material first. It contains DNA. What is DNA? Deoxyribonucleic acids. Nucleus control the cell activities. So your nucleus is like a brain, like your brain that control your whole body, right? So nucleus is like the brain of the cells. For example, let's take a DNA. Let's take a DNA. So I know it's a bad drawing of a DNA. Let me try to do it in a better fashion. Oh my god, it's actually bad. How can I be a microbiologist if I'm drawing? I'm so bad at drawing. It's okay. Not everyone is good at drawing. So as you can see, these are the structures, right? DNA looks nothing like this, but similar to this. If you know, you know. so this is basically the structure that we have. So this structure is a code. As you have computer codes 0 1 0 1 0 1 1 1, right? You have computer codes. So cell also have code A, T, C, G. This what makes the code, right? So you can think it as a 0 1 2 3. So these are make up the code of the cell. They contain the code to produce proteins, hormones. So these proteins actually folded to form enzymes. Then these enzymes control the cellular activity. Hence the nucleus control the cell activities. Now let's look at cell division. As it contains the genetic code, it is like the brain of the cells. It contains all the codes for us. So if it contains all the codes for us, now what we will do is that it also help in cell development. How does it help in cell development? It contains the code for protein, which is used to develop the cells, and it is present in cytoplasm. Okay. Now let's look at another structure. This structure, I think I talked little bit to you guys. Its structure is known as mitochondria. So what is mitochondria? Mitochondria is nothing but the powerhouse of the cells. Look at this beautiful structure of mitochondria. Let me tell you guys one interesting fact. It used to be, that is the theory said, it used to be an ancient bacteria that fuses with eukaryotic cell, and it form a symbiotic relationship with the cell. So it take glucose and other energy source, and it produce ATP. So it can also survive, we can also survive. So it is a beneficial relationship, and this is a thing I found very fascinating, honestly speaking. It is the powerhouse of the cell, right? It is an ancient bacteria. This is literally an ancient bacteria. So each of your cell have a bacteria in it. So you can understand, right? And there is a lot of mitochondria in the cell. Muscle cells usually have more mitochondria, honestly speaking. Factually speaking, not honestly speaking. Because muscle cells need a continuous energy for its movement, right? So what is the structure of mitochondria? It is a rod shape. It is site where actually the aerobic respiration take place. In this folded structure is where the aerobic respiration are also taking place. Also in the membrane, it is a part of the whole process. They release energy in the form of ATP, by the way, adenosine triphosphate. You don't need to learn the full form right now, but eventually you will remember this thing. It took me a little bit of time to memorize this too. Adenosine triphosphate. Now we'll look at another structure. Let's look at another structure, which is ribosome. So what is ribosome? Ribosome is a factory of what? To produce protein, right? If a factory need to produce a product, it need to have a series of instruction for it to produce product. This series of instruction come from this structure known as mRNA. We'll not learn about mRNA today, but for me is that, for example, this is DNA again. Yalla. Okay. For this code are copied in a structure known as mRNA. Okay, these codes are copied in a structure known as mRNA. So mRNA, the ribosome use the instruction in the mRNA to produce protein. These are like amino acids. Okay, these are amino acids. I'm sorry for my handwriting, it's really bad, I know. This structure is present in cytoplasm. Also, some are attached to the rough endoplasmic reticulum. They're used for protein synthesis. You might be thinking, what is rough endoplasmic reticulum? Okay, let me show you. We need to go back a little bit. What are rough endoplasmic reticulum? This structure is rough endoplasmic reticulum. Are you seeing this structure? These connected structures. So ribosome are attached on the surface of it. So this structure is actually the rough endoplasmic reticulum. Next, I think we'll learn about cell wall, if I'm not wrong. So what is cell wall? Cell wall are fully permeable. What does fully permeable mean? Means all the substances can pass through it. It could be ions, it could be proteins, it could be amino acids, it could be vitamins, it could be other substances. So it is made up of non-living layer. So this layer is not living. They are made up of cellulose. In plant, it is made up of cellulose. However, in bacteria, it is made up of peptidoglycan. In fungi, it is chitin. And for plant, it is cellulose, right? It is a fast layer. But cell wall has a very important function, is that it helps to maintain rigidity. It gives the rigidity structure to the cell, and also this structure helps the plant cell not from blasting. What does that means? For example, you put this plant cell in a beaker that has a lot of water molecules. So water molecules will move inside the cell, right? It will move inside the cell. So if it moves inside the cell started to expand outward, right? Outward. But however, this cell wall provide the opposite force. So prevent the cell from blasting. This doesn't the plant animal cell doesn't have this cell wall, so they blast when too many water molecule enter the cell, and it gives the cell rigidity and protecting them from blasting. Let's look at the another structure, which is vacuoles. Vacuoles are this structure, by the way. Vacuoles are permanently present in plant cells, and it is absent or temporarily present in animal cell. So what is vacuoles are mainly found? It is found inside the cytoplasm. Of course, as you can see, all the organelles are found inside the cytoplasms, right? So what does it provide? It provides turgidity to plant cells. So what happens is that water molecules, ion and minerals enter the vacuoles, it gives rigidity to non-woody plant cells, right? Non-woody plant cells, it gives rigidity to them because of this vacuole. It used as a disposable site for byproduct. For example, cell is like a mini factories, right? It produces a lot of product that are harmful for the cell. So it acts as a disposable site. So you can see it's a dustbin, but it is very useful dustbin. Okay, it has a lot of function inside the cell. We'll learn about chloroplast. Like mitochondria, it is said that chloroplast also come from an ancient bacteria, right? That further evolves to form organelles in the plant cells. So what does chloroplast do? It is a site of photosynthesis. So for example, this is sun. You've never seen this type of ugly sun, but it's okay. So what does chloroplast do? Chloroplast absorbs the sunlight, and using this sunlight and water and carbon dioxide to make glucose. Okay, to make glucose plus, you guessed it right. What did you guess, by the way? Oxygen. Okay, so the function is to trap sunlight and make glucose from water and carbon dioxide. Now let's look at our final structure, which is another way the genetic material are exposed, which is circular DNA. It is a structure that is found in bacterial cell. Okay, it is a structure that is found in bacterial cell. So what does function of circular DNA? Same as the nucleus, we have the genetic material. It is basically, as you can see in depth, the genetic material. So you can see how bad my drawing was, but stay with me. So it also participates in cell division, cell growth, cell activities, same as the nucleus. So for today's class, I would like to say thank you. It really means a lot if you guys finish it up to this. And please do subscribe to my channel. I'm really new to the YouTube thing, and I would love to help you guys through your journey. See you guys in the next class. Bye bye.